So hi everyone, we'll be presenting chapter 10, Plant and Equipments, and I am Cha Martin, and my group mates are Sobam Lee, Jason Lee, and Seth Nordesta, and we're gonna be focusing on three key learning points, which is uh, straight line method, and we'll also be tackling it in terms of its definition, explanation, as well as computations of with examples. And then the next one would be units of activity method, and the last one is declining balance method. And yeah, we'll start with straight line method.
Straight line method. Under the straight line method, companies expense the same amount of depreciation for each year of the asset's useful life. It is measured solely by the passage of time. To compute depreciation expense under the straight line method, companies need to determine depreciable cost. Depreciable cost is the cost of the asset less its salvage value. It represents the total amount subject to depreciation. Under the straight line method, to determine annual depreciation expense, we divide depreciation cost by the asset's useful life.
So for the example, the question is Thomas and Friends purchased LG refrigerator on January 1, 2012. So find this annual depreciation expenses and illustrate it in a table. So the given is we have 63,000 for cost and salvage value is 3,000 and estimated useful life in year is 12 years. So for the first question, we first have to get the annual depreciation expenses, and in order to do it, we need to get the depreciable cost that Seth mentioned a while ago. So in order to get this, we should get cost minus salvage value. So our cost is 63,000, it's in the given, and the salvage value also is 3,000. So it's gonna be 63,000 minus 3,000, which is 60,000. So after getting 60,000, we have to divide it by 12. So it's depreciable cost divided by useful life is going to be 5,000. So 5,000 is the annual depreciation expenses. Next slide, please. So now we can use this $5,000 of accumulated depreciation to illustrate the straight line method in a table. So as you can see, first is year. So we start from 2012 up to 2023. That consists of 12 years of using the refrigerator. So next is the beginning book value. So this is the book value we have when each year starts. For declining balance rate, so this is always 8.33 since 100 divided by 12 years. So every year we depreciate 8.33% of balance rate. For annual depreciation, we promise that in a straight line method, we constantly and annually depreciate same amount of money. So every year we depreciate $5,000. So next, accumulated depreciation will constantly increase by 5,000 since it shows the total depreciation we paid in every year. Lastly, book value. Also, this is what we eventually get after depreciating expenses from beginning book value. So as you can see, for year 2012, our beginning book value is $63,000 since Thomas and Friends just started using the ref. And its annual and accumulated depreciation is also 5,000 since it's the first year, and then we minus both, then we get the book value of 58,000. Next is our 2013 one. So we now start our beginning book value with 58,000 since that's what it was the value remains from the end of 2012. Then its annual depreciation expense will be same as 5,000, but accumulated depreciation will be 10,000, including the depreciation we already expense from 2012. So that's gonna be 5,000 plus 5,000, so it's 10,000. Then we will have total $53,000 of book value after minusing the 10,000. Now every year, so the system is repeated until we end up getting $3,000 worth book value of year 2023, which will be our salvage value that we give after removing all the depreciation cost. Next slide, please.
The next method is units of activity method. The unit of activity method is ideally suited for factory machinery. Manufacturing companies can measure production in units of output or in machine hours. This method can also be used for such assets as delivery equipment or miles driven, and airplanes or hours in use. The units of activity method is generally not suitable for buildings or furniture because depreciation for these assets is more function of time than use. To use this method, companies estimate the total units of activity for the entire useful life, and then divide this unit into depreciable cost. The resulting number represents the depreciable cost per unit. The depreciable cost per unit is then applied to the units of activity during the year to determine the annual depreciation expense. Next slide, please.
The unit of activity method is a method of calculating depreciation cost at a ratio based on the expected operating charge of estimate per production is in consideration of the degree of use access. The production proportion method is more suitable for depreciation method of natural resources, mines or oil fields, etc. Then general tangible asset purchase price is 170,000 won. Transportation fee is 20,000 won. Estimate residual value of 10,000. Estimated content life of 180,000 units. Depreciation method, production proportion method, amortization rate equal 170,000 plus 20,000 minus 10,000 divided 180,000 equal 1. Next.
The third method is declining balance method. The declining balance method produces a decreasing annual depreciation expense over the asset's useful life. The method is so named because the periodic depreciation is based on a declining book value or cost less accumulated depreciation of the asset. With this method, companies compute annual depreciation expense by multiplying the book value at the beginning of the year by the declining balance depreciation rate. The depreciation rate remains constant from year to year, but the book value to which the rate is applied declines each year. Next slide, please.
So for our example for declining balance method, just like what said, we have the beginning book value times declining balance rate, which is in our example 40%, and our beginning book value is 500,000, and it equals to 200,000, and we also have it 200,000 in accumulated depreciation as it is the start of the year, and the book value is going to be 300,000. So for the next year, we'll have the beginning book value, which is from the end of the last year, 2015, as 300,000. So with the same declining balance rate of 40%, we multiply it to get the 120,000, and then the 120,000 plus 200,000, which is our accumulated depreciation for 2016, is going to be 320,000, and then our book value would be 180,000. So starting with 180,000 again, our beginning book value for 2017 is 180,000, and then same declining balance rate of 40%. So if we multiply it, we'll get 72,000. and then added to the 320,000 accumulated depreciation from last year to get the total of 392,000. And then our book value would be 108,000. So starting with the book value from the last year to begin 2018 rather, we have 108,000 and the same declining balance rate of 40%, and then multiply it to get the annual depreciation expense for 2018 of 43,200, and then add it to the accumulated depreciation from 2017, which is 135,200, and then our book value would be 64,800. So, beginning with the book value from the end of 2018, we'll begin a book value of 2019 of 64,800 as well, and then same declining balance rate 40%, and then multiply it to get a total of annual depreciation expense of 14,800. And computation for 14,800, it is adjusted as we get the 64,800 times 4 um, to get to balance out the last entry, which is the accumulated depreciation of 450,000 with book value of 50,000. So if we add it to that, we'll get the 500,000 from the beginning book value of 2015. So our journal entry for this one would be for the year of 2015. We have the account title of debit depreciation expense of 300,000, and then credit accumulated depreciation of 300,000 as well. So that's it for our presentation, and I hope you guys learned a lot from us. Thank you.
Good job. Good
Okay
job.
na yun, no? One take.
Oh, one take. So I'm
And
so
then-
sorry, guys. I think I have cold. I keep coughing like today.
Yeah.
You know my cough. I'm so sorry, guys. But anyways, thank you, Seth. Thank you, Ja. Thank you, Jason, for today.
Okay, wait. Jason. Wait, I'll stop recording.
Yes.